welcome to Osseo High School for Northwest Suburban Conference girls basketball tonight. It is the Armstrong Falcons taking on the host Orioles. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Patty Sorensen. And Patty, wins have been a little bit hard to come by for these teams, both of them pretty young, but you know, you look for positive signs, and they both feel like they've had a couple of pretty good games lately, and you know, you want to translate that into the win column if you can.
Exactly. I think you got to, like, they're both looking. You said they're young. Both coaches are realizing that. They're building the programs. They're seeing the positives, and they're going to take those positives and continue to try and build with them tonight.
Doug Erline, the Osseo coach, said, you know, the last couple weeks have been some of his best practices, and they played well in games also. And boy, you really like to see that your teams aren't getting discouraged, that they're still hungry, that they're looking to get better even as you get late into January here.
Well, definitely. You know, January is that tough time, but with the positive of the good practices, the positive kids being young, kids are gym rats now. They want to get here, and they start seeing those successes, and that's going to build for both of them.
I think for Armstrong, too, their coach, Antoine Easley, said, you know, the kids have not given up in some of these games where they've fallen behind, and those are the nice things. I think sometimes youth can be a good thing in that way too. It doesn't feel as life and death maybe for the 8th and 9th graders. They don't know any better and just coming out here and trying hard.
Exactly. You know, I agree with you. Those young kids, it's like they're just used to playing ball. They're going to come out and they're going to work. They love the game. And hopefully what's happening too is the older kids are seeing the progress, and they're coming together with them to help bring it on, and just understanding if we keep building together, it's going to get better.
Let's talk about key players to look at in this evening's contest. First of all, for Armstrong, really the player that probably every opponent focuses in first and foremost on is the talented, young, tall post player, Savannah McGowan.
Exactly. Savannah being a left-hander, a post, and you said young, you're right, a 9th grader, but she's playing beyond that years, I'm going to say that. She's playing as an older person. She's being able to go out and control and do some things. It's going to be fun to watch her participate tonight. She's
averaging about 12 points and 10 rebounds per game for the Falcons. And for Osseo, Jaden Klein is a player who missed some games early, but kind of one of their returning veterans, their front court player, and she's a strong driver, can do a lot of things for them.
And I think she's going to bring that leadership, but being the older player, the senior, coming back, like you said, missed some games, but come back now, contributing, has some great things she can do in the inside game too, so it's going to be fun to watch the two of those ladies go against each other.
All right, something's got to give tonight here. The Orioles and the Falcons looking to get back into the win column this evening. They'll tip off in just a moment here on CCX. Welcome back here to Osseo High School as the starting lineup's about to be introduced. Joining us courtside here this evening is Allie Mosley. Let's go to Allie.
Jay and Patty, it's no secret that this Osseo team is young, especially starting an 8th grader in Ava Holman. Now, Coach Erline says that a lot of talented basketball players have come through Osseo, but make no mistake, the name Ava Holman has the potential to be really, really special, he says. No one works harder than her out on the floor. He said he knew that she was going to come in and be great at scoring, but what he didn't know is how great of a defender she was going to be. He said he has no problem putting her up against the opposing team's starting guards in any situation. But guys, she is young. She's just in her early teens, and while Coach says that she's constantly playing at a 10 out on the floor, he wants her to kind of rein it in a little, bring it back to about a 6 or an 8. That's going to help her lift her head on the floor, get a bit better vision of the court. But guys, Ava Holman, she's going to be a name we're going to be hearing a lot of over the next 5 years.
Thanks, Allie. As we starters for tonight's contest, Armstrong and Osseo, the Falcons with a couple of wins coming in, and here's their lineup this evening. They've got Ava Brigham and Savannah McGowan the forward spots, Jessica Hanley, Alexa Parsons, and Carly Fisher. So they got a couple of freshmen and the sophomore in their lineup, along with a junior and a senior. And Osseo, it's kind of a mixture. They've got a young backcourt, as Allie said, with Alea Wilson, a freshman, and then Holman, the 8th grader. But then up front, they're a little more experienced with Jasmine Choi, Isabel Cronin, and Jaden Klein, all being seniors for the Orioles. And Coach Erlene said, you know, we didn't play well last night against Minneapolis South on the offensive end, but defensively he really liked what he saw. And he said they're kind of coming around and, you know, have been doing a good job of late. And you know, I like the way he's aiming big with this program. He remembers the days when they were a very top program, and they're not shying away from. Said no reason we can't build back toward that. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to be easy, but there's no reason that we should, you know, just accept being a program that's not winning very many games ever, and we want to really work hard to get better.
Well, exactly, and one of the things he also talked about, too, is they put themselves in the position several times to give themselves an opportunity to win the game. So the more they get used to doing that, it's going to turn for their favor.
And for Armstrong, they did win their opener over at Irondale, but just one victory since then, and played the Cooper team that we actually saw Friday night. They played them on Saturday, and things kind of got away from them a little bit later in that one, but they replaced really two of the better players that they've had in their program in a long time that graduated last year, Masengo Matanda and Carly Kershaw, both in college now. So Armstrong with it to start it out. See how their guards can handle a little bit of pressure from Osseo. McGowan comes out to get it. Klein is on her. Back cut here to the baseline. Ball knocked away.
I like that idea. They were thinking that right off, and that backdoor cut was going to be there. Just couldn't control the ball.
Carly Fisher had it knocked out of her hands. They go to McGowan. McGowan driving it to the baseline. Too strong with it, though. And an offensive rebound grab, but a travel called on Ava Brigham. So Klein actually asked for the assignment on McGowan, according to Coach Erlene. Here's Jaden Klein looking to turn the corner, attacks and scores. So first two up on the board for Klein. The Orioles lead it early. Pitched out to the wing, and the three-point attempt won't go, but there is McGowan for the putback after Parsons had the miss. McGowan able to get to the glass, and that's going to be a big key, trying to keep her off the glass. Overall rebounding is something Armstrong has struggled with, but obviously McGowan's a good rebounder. Here's Klein shooting a three, and she'll hit. So the two featured players coming out and answering the bell early here. It's 5-2 for Osseo.
Well, and that's one of the things that Osseo's talked about, too, is how are they going to defend against Klein in there as far as her ability to rebound and her size. And that's going to be an interesting matchup to see how they make their adjustments on that.
A little hesitation dribble, and the layup is good for Wilson, going all the way. The D never really stepped up to stop her. 7-2 Orioles. Back out, McGowan will shoot that three, and it's good. Savannah McGowan with all 5 points here for Armstrong.
You have to like that when your post player can get in there, play with her back to the basket, get rebounds for you, and can step out and hit a three-pointer like that too. That's an advantage for them right there.
And she looked very comfortable and confident doing it. Here's Klein shooting a three, and that's good. Answering back and forth, Klein and McGowan doing battle early on here, and it's 10-5 Orioles. And there's a drive, and a foul will be called on Wilson on the drive.
There we go with McGowan pulling up at the top. She just looks so comfortable, like you said, inside and out. And when you got a player, and only a ninth grader at that, that's promising.
Carly Fisher to the free throw line here for the Falcons. And she hits the first, so the first player other than McGowan to score. Ella Bernoulli comes in, number 30 for the Falcons. She is a junior and has played some minutes in the past for them as well, so coming off the bench as an experienced sub here tonight. Fisher's second free throw also perfect. So 10-7 lead now for Osseo.
What's going to be crucial for both teams tonight, too, is to get scoring from multiple people. You know, right now the main two are doing it for them, but they need to get everybody involved.
Little hand check call there on Parsons as Holman went to the baseline and turned the corner on her there. Holman pivoting back, goes to Klein. Now it's Wilson, a little step through, and the layup is good. Second bucket for Wilson. Fisher out to the wing, and it's stolen away. They look up court to Wilson, and she was bumped, and that'll be the second foul in short order on Parsons. So Choi up with the steal and looked ahead. And I know Coach Easley was a little bit worried about, how would his team handle pressure, and that's one of the things he talked about. With you got young players is getting used to the speed and physicality, particularly in the Northwest Suburban, where things just moving a little faster and a little more physical than what a lot of times what players coming up from maybe the freshman team or even middle school basketball are used to.
Exactly. You get those young kids in there, and it takes an adjustment period for them to get used to the style and the pace of the game, and even just the physicality sometimes.
(14-7) lead here for Osseo. Nice little baseline drive and dish to McGowan. It bounces around and drops. Holman driving up with the left hand too hard. Got it right back herself. Missed again, and McGowan will rebound. Henley looking to attack. Hits the bottom of the backboard with it, but then she got it back. And Henley traveled as she tried to stop and pivot and look out to the wing with that one.
I think she had the right intention. She knew what she wanted to do, but she kind of overcommitted herself, and then there's where came the traveling violation.
Choi picks up her dribble here. Coach Erlene had a lot of praise for Choi, all the things she does for this team, and there's Holman knocking down a three. First basket for Ava Holman, and then Osseo all over Armstrong early here, leading 17-9.
Well, one of the things Coach talked about for Osseo is they've played a couple games where they've been used to the constant pressure and not anticipating that kind of full court pressure from Armstrong, and they're attacking themselves.
Wilson the miss, but she knocked the rebound away from McGowan. Now drifts out to the three-point line and missed it. And then a foul call going to go against Holman as she tried to rip it away from Fisher. Second foul on the Orioles. Each team has two right now. And subbing in here for Osseo will be Lyric Walters, a sophomore. Henley into the front court here for the Falcons with Choi defending her. And there's Klein up with the block as Fisher thought she had room to get that shot up, and Jaden Klein said, not so fast.
Carly made a great drive in there, but it was just like you said. She followed her in, and McGowan just made her, said, nope, not tonight.
And there's Choi reaching out and knocking it away and gets the steal. Good quick hands. Holman giving it up to Klein and then back out to top to Wilson. Osseo's really shot the ball quite well in the early going here. You have to believe, for a team that's won 3 games coming in, this is probably a little above what they've been shooting. That's a 2-pointer for Choi as she buries it. So 4 of the 5 starters have scored now for Osseo, and they go up by 10.
And that's just going to continue to help their confidence build. They're getting everybody involved. They're going to be able to create more things offensively also that way.
Back out here to Fisher. No good with that one. Rebound to Walters. Holman is open for a deep 3 on the right wing. Oh, it was halfway down but comes out. Fisher will give it to McGowan. McGowan sets a screen and then rolls, but pretty good D, and that pass is thrown away. Klein got out there just enough to not make that an easy, simple direct line pass, and it was thrown away.
Well, and I think that's a matchup that Klein was looking forward to. She really wanted that opportunity, and that was a challenge she wanted, was to be able to defend McGowan there.
Megan Bugan, number 3, checking in here for Armstrong. Back out top, Choi. Nice shot fake, drives and was fouled, and Choi will head to the free throw line as the help defense arrived a little bit late. And Brigham will pick up the foul, so Choi to the free throw line. And the second leading scorer on their team are right in there with the nearly a tie for the second spot for the Orioles. Wilson comes back in. Klein and Holman will get a break as Choi sinks the free throw. And second free throw is also good. Jasmine Choi with 4 points. And it's a 21-9 lead. Tamia Brack is in there 44 for Osseo, and we'll get a push call on the drive. And that is going to be Brack who will pick it up. It's always that fine line. You want your defenders to be aggressive, but, you know, maybe not bail them out a little bit with a foul like that one. Inside it comes, and there's a nice block. As Brack getting the block there for the Orioles. Lena Sampe, number 45, is checked in here for Osseo. A little crossover by Wilson. Keeps the dribble alive. Oh, going to be a travel call. I thought that was going to be maybe a three-point play opportunity. Instead, it is a walk. Another look.
Back in for the Falcons, number 23.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, it kind of looked a little like there was some good reaching going in on there.
And 33, Katie.
So Wilson thought she got a layup and maybe a foul. Instead, it goes as a travel, and Armstrong gets the possession. Falcons got some decent shots early, but struggling more of late. And the takeaway there, Brack for the layup, and it's good. So she's able to take it coast to coast after the steal, and it's 23-9, Osseo.
Osseo is applying some good pressure defense on them. They're aggressive all over, and it's causing some good turnovers to their advantage, and they're being able to capitalize on the other end.
And a three put up by Britnoli is short. Yeah, Armstrong really struggling. Oh, and there's a missed opportunity. Klein was alone for a layup. Definitely the right idea, but the pass just a little too high from Wilson. McGowan will check back in. The Falcons are really struggling to get, many good shots of late here, and I'm guessing McGowan's, barring foul trouble or anything, probably not going to get a whole lot of rest tonight. They need her on the floor.
Well, they definitely do, and on the other side of it, Osceo's putting in several players. They've already played 9 different players tonight, and it's keeping the legs fresh, keeping the pressure applying, and that's going to wear down on Armstrong.
And something I like, too, that Doug Gerlein's doing is, if you intend to play somebody, get them an opportunity relatively early in the game. It's so difficult to ask somebody to, you come into a close game halfway through the second half for the first time, and to be expected to be in the flow is hard. I always felt like if you have somebody that's, in your rotation that you expect to use that night, get them a chance to get out there and get up and down the court a few times in the first half at least.
Oh, I agree. Just give them some comfort, get them to feel the floor, the up and down, and instead of relying them on a crunch time, and they haven't been on the floor yet.
Couple of free throws made by McGowan, breaking a drought there for the Falcons. Three put up by Caden Knutson is no good for Osseo. Falcons looking to attack quickly the other way, and that'll be a foul on Brack as Brigham tried to go up inside. Brack's made her presence felt early, a couple of them for the wrong reasons with fouls, but she had that steal and layup too.
Yeah, she's definitely an aggressive little player. And I think a lot of kids get themselves in that situation where she picked up that foul that they think they're getting there, but they come across. And it's like they're thinking they're getting all ball, but they've come across the arms, and that call's going to go against them more times than not.
Brigham's free throw is good, and yeah, especially when you come down like that, even if you do get all ball, it looks so much like a foul when you're kind of chopping down like that.
And unfortunately, at times that means you're going to get the look-alike foul.
Second free throw for Brigham is also good. So Armstrong, although they're trailing, that's one thing they've done very well tonight, 6 for 6 from the line. And that's helped to keep them somewhat in it. They're down 10. Cronin back in there now for Osseo. Wilson out on the wing, attacks, nice pass, but then a block by Brigham. Cronin thought she had a layup, and Brigham, reacting nicely, gets back and gets the swat.
She did a nice job of coming back and being active and involved and just causing some disruption in there.
And this will be a foul on Brigham as Klein. That's kind of like the oldest inbound play in the book. Inbound it and then dive into the post, and she came through the body of Klein. Another look at that block as a good recovery by Brigham. Long inbound is retrieved there by Knutson. Wilson getting a screen, and then McGowan read it well though and takes it away. Brigham will shoot it up. That one is short. She goes and gets it herself. How does the player who was way out there come and be the first to it? She knew where it was going, I guess.
And then you, if you're the Osseo coaching staff, you're going, that should have never happened. Where was blocking out the shooter? Where was the other people getting on the board? But you got to give it to her. She followed her shot, and she went and attacked the bucket.
Klein on the drive, and it will be a blocking foul. As Bugan, I believe it is, who got over there just a touch late apparently there. They had the right idea, certainly. You don't want to allow somebody to drive it from that far out, and they got in the path a little bit, but Klein goes to the free throw line. Another look at it here as you see Bugan. That was close.
Oh, yeah.
And Klein's free throw good again. So she has 10 early points here, 24-15. And a little trouble with the ball in the backcourt. Let's see, did we get a timeout? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Antoine Easley helping his player Fisher out. It's a tough spot to be in. Not only did you pick up your dribble, but you're on your knees. There wasn't a whole lot of great options there at that point.
No, and they were smothering. They were coming after her on that one. So that's a tough one to get out of.
Remember to vote for our CCX Sports Play of the Week, brought to you by Chick-fil-A in Maple Grove. Go to our website, ccxmedia.org, and check out 4 new plays each Monday, and it's you, the viewers, that vote to decide. We've had some great response, and we thank Chick-fil-A of Maple Grove for sponsoring the Play of the Week. So 25-15, Osseo making that big surge into the lead. Armstrong's kind of settled a little bit here, but you can kind of tell their margin's going to be a little slim tonight. They've not, been able to get shots as easily, I don't think, as Osseo has here.
And I think that's something Coach is talking about right now, too. Offensively, one thing is we've got to move our ball. We've got to run our offense. We've got to get our plays. And then we're going to get the shot we want. Defensively, he's probably saying we got to quit putting them at the free throw line, too. Let's get our feet moving. Let's do a little more deny, keep the ball out of their hands as much as we can. McGowan, if you're Osseo, you'll like what's going on. Your kids are playing tough defense. They're attacking the basket. They're transitioning quickly.
McGowan getting it inbounded here to Fisher. Choi defending her. McGowan way out high. Now they do look to McGowan. Turns and scores. Well, that was a nice job of releasing the ball and then just kind of rolling down that edge of the lane.
She does a really nice job with that. It's such a soft touch when she puts it up.
Klein looking to attack and had it blocked by Fisher. Choi gets it. Choi is tied up by McGowan. Should mention too, Armstrong will get their only other player of real good size back. Euphemian Bailey's been injured, and McGowan will have her workload inside maybe relieved a little bit. There you get a look at the block. Klein was real aggressive in going after it there, and then eventually the tie-up. Here's Klein. Back across to Choi. Nice dish. Oh, the layup just wouldn't go. Holman rebounds and misses, and McGowan grabs it. So a couple of good opportunities there. First Walters and then Holman. They just didn't quite drop. Strong drive, no good, but McGowan finishes it as Fisher missed the first one. McGowan has continued to impress here tonight.
McGowan's done a great job of moving up and down the floor. A lot of times, sometimes your posts, they're coming back. They think their guards have it. She's just moving. She's there and it's paying off.
And there's a foul on McGowan as Choi did a nice job getting to that rebound and went right back up with it. Choi, I was talking a little bit earlier about, as you get a look at that last rebound and putback by McGowan, about Coach Erlene just said Choi has really been our most consistent and probably best overall player this year. Just all the things she does, the type of things that don't always show up in a box score too, you know, as a stat per se, but just doing the right thing defensively and communicating out there and just all the things that she does for this team.
Well, and that's what you need out of a senior, and it's good when you have a senior can do that, especially with the young players they have. Just to kind of show them the ropes of the way and show the different roles. Okay, my role tonight is to do this. Okay, and understanding that sometimes your role changes, and if I play the role I'm asked to play, that's going to be success for our team.
Well, Armstrong beat the pressure nicely, but Parsons missed the layup, and here's Wilson finishing with a strong drive. And boy, for a freshman, she's strong there. You know, got bumped just a little bit, but it didn't seem to bother her in the least. That one will spin out. There's a rebound by Wilson as Parsons had another near miss there for the Falcons. Klein, a little hesitation dribble, attacking again, and this time the foul is called on Fisher. You get the feeling that Klein thinks, I've got a little size advantage here. I'm a little older. I'm just going to go right at her. The first time it didn't work out as well. She was got a clean block, but that time a foul.
Well, and I think the other thing is, as we talked to Coach Erlene earlier, you know, they played a game last night, and it didn't necessarily turn out the way they want. And in his vision, it was nothing better than to get right back on the court, and the girls are definitely responding. They're pressuring, they're moving, they're getting everybody involved.
Klein's second free throw is good. By the way, that first free throw she missed was the very first miss for either team from the line. It's been a very impressive start from the free throw line. And there's Holman jumping in for the steal, and that's going to be a foul against Armstrong as Fisher will be called for her second in a row. And I think a nice job by the official, too, there. A lot of times, you know, the defensive player doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, but Holman definitely got there first and then was run into by Fisher. So Holman will head to the line as that's the 7th team foul. Or 8th team foul, in fact. Free throw is good, so she'll get the bonus.
They have definitely both teams very successful at the free throw line tonight.
Holman makes a pair. She has 5 points. The lead is a dozen for Osseo. There's a steal by Choi, but McGowan with a great block. Now Fisher looking to work her way up court. Does, and the layup will not drop, and then out of bounds on the play, trying to get it back, was Bernoulli. So another missed opportunity there for Armstrong, and I think they're rushing a few of their layups here when they beat the pressure up court.
I agree. They are getting pressured so much, and then they get a good opportunity like that, and it was like, I'm going to a basket and nobody's all over me, and sometimes we rush our shots in that case.
3 from the top is good for Walters as Klein set a screen for her, and now the lead is 35-19. Down low, McGowan is open, and this time it rolls out. And then Klein knocked it over to Wilson, who was just barely back in bounds. Wilson, little hesitation move, high arcer over McGowan is good. Look at Alea Wilson. He is lighting it up here for the Orioles. And the lead is 37-19. Little 2-on-1 here for the Falcons. And this time took her time well enough there and lay up good for Parsons. You live by the press and die by the press occasionally, but I'd say it definitely worked out more to the good for Osseo.
It's created some good, wow.
There's Holman burying it. Boy, and if they'd been this efficient offensively all year, I can guarantee you they'd have more than 3 wins at this point, right?
Exactly. You know, and you just keep going back, like talking to Coach, you know, they played a tough game last night, and the kids are responding extremely well. A lot of energy in them. They're moving. They're aggressive, and got to be happy with that shooting percentage.
And Armstrong, you know, has played well in stretches, but, you know, Coach Easley was one of the things he mentioned, too, is that we're having too many times where there's like a 3 or 4 minute stretch where we kind of just get blitzed. And then you look up and all of a sudden it's, you know, what was a close game is now 16-18. And that's where we are right now at 19-point deficit. And, you know, for stretches they've played right with Osseo, but can you do it, you know, consistently throughout a half or a full game? And right now that's what they're struggling with. They've been bothered by Osseo's pressure in terms of turning the ball over, but I think almost as damaging is just how many layups they've missed when they have, you know, you kind of want to make a team pay if they're being real aggressive and gambling. You get those little 2-on-1s, you got to make them work.
Well, and I also think they're trying to play at the tempo that Osseo's playing, which is feeding into Osseo's hands what they want to have happen. But they're playing at that tempo, and it's not necessarily always to their advantage right now.
Osseo dropping back off this time, and Hanley into the front court. They look to double the dribbler way out high. Baseline drive, shot no good. That one was kind of forced up quick by Parsons. Holman to Wilson, a nice catch on the baseline. Now Holman cutting between two players, and it's just going to be out off of Holman. It looked like maybe, yeah, exactly what Ava signaled there. I thought she got fouled there, but officials did not see it that way, so it's a turnover. Try to go to McGowan. Good effort by Choi, and they come up with the steal.
I think the hard part on that last play is they know they wanted to go to her. I think they just got the ball a little late to McGowan as she was cutting through.
Wilson faking the pass and drives it at the hoop, no good. Out of bounds, it'll be Osseo basketball here. 4:50 to go in the first half. 40-21 Osseo our score. Back in is Cronin now for the Orioles. Also, Sampe is in there again for Osseo. She has the ball. Wilson will line up a three. That's off the back of the iron, and a nice rebound by Brigham. Layup attempt, no good. Wilson got back to bother that shot of Parsons.
And it's unfortunate because Armstrong actually had a player advantage on that transition back. It just, the ball's just not dropping for him.
Choi posting up, kicks it back out. Sampe will swing it around to Wilson. And that's good for three more. Wilson has been dynamite in this first half here for the Orioles. Boy, they are in range to get a 50-point half here, which not exactly what has been their MO this season. And there's a foul on the drive.
Yeah, she was ready for that one. She just spotted up, was left alone in the corner, and she finished it very nicely. You know, you're going in, and I know Coach is thinking it's like, okay, we're capitalizing at the free throw line, but we've got to get some buckets. We got to get some buckets some other ways, and unfortunately for Armstrong, it's seeming like Osseo's being able to score at will. I mean, they've missed a few, but their shooting percentage between both inside and out has to be pretty good.
Parsons looking to make another free throw here. And gets that one to drop as well, so they continue to be perfect at the line, but it's an uphill battle for Armstrong, down 43-22. As Fisher checks back in now, and now it's Armstrong's turn to come with a little bit of pressure here. It's like a 1-2-2, and they get a quick steal out of it, and Fisher was fouled. So Hanley helped to force that turnover, and then Fisher winds up with the ball and will go to the free throw line.
And you know, if you're Armstrong, you've got to realize that right now, you've been attacking, you've been drawing fouls. You're making it at the free throw, you got to attack the bucket maybe a little more.
Holman will pick up that foul, and Fisher, they finally have missed a free throw. Wilson will come back in.
Back in for the Orioles, number 15, Elaine Wilson.
And short with the second one. So Armstrong's greatness at the line falling off on those last two.
And unfortunately, because that's where they've been the most successful so far tonight.
And there's another turnover. Fisher stops, gives it to McGowan, gets some room and scores.
Boy, does she have a nice touch. You know, I know she's left-handed, but even just how soft that ball is going off the backboard and in. And she's got people hanging on her all the time, and she's still finishing.
Holman had it knocked loose, and this will be a jump ball. Great effort by Bugan there. She was diving headlong at that ball, and Armstrong using handing Osseo a little of their own medicine here, coming with pressure, and it's given the Orioles a little bit of trouble.
Well, and that's the key. They got to switch it up. They got to try different options, and what are we going to do to disrupt them? Their biggest thing is they got to disrupt the offensive flow that Osseo's had so far.
Double dribble there on Hanley as she started to pick it up and then changed her mind and put her other hand on the ball too. So it will be Osseo basketball here. 3:12 to go in this first half. Orioles out to a 43-25 lead. Klein looking to drive it. Back out, Holman. Attacks, whoa, that would have been spectacular if that one had gone in because it fell out of her hands. She kind of scooped it up with both hands. That's going to be on Carly Fisher. That is her third, so that's not good news for the Falcons.
No, definitely not. She's going to come out right now and rest a little bit, but you're watching Holman just make that last move. You know, and like you said, if that would have finished, that would have been amazing. But you watch her play, and she's an 8th grader. But again, we said that the other night. There's 8th graders out there that are playing, but you're watching them, and it's hard to believe they're 8th graders. Their poise, their defensive mindedness.
Hanley dumping it down low. Brigham, no, but she was fouled, and I believe that'll be the second on Klein. So that's something to kind of watch a little bit as well. As Klein, you really would like to get her to halftime still at 2 fouls and not pick up a third.
Right. Actually, they got Klein and Holman at 2 fouls right now, and it's like, and we got 2:45 left. Let's not get a foul here.
Brigham sinks the free throw.
You know, you look at to Osseo's advantage. They've got a fairly deep bench for them. You know, they're playing a lot of players, and they've all contributed. They've all come out and done a good job in the role that they've each played.
Pressure again from Armstrong, and it's Holman that time way too strong with it, and then a foul on Cronin as she knocks Parsons to the court, and that'll be the second on Cronin, and we'll come back for free throws here. And again, Armstrong has really lived at the line, as other than McGowan, they only have 2 made baskets by anybody other than Savannah McGowan, Brigham and Parsons, but they've been at the line a lot and have been really good at the line.
Well, and you know, I think they need to keep working with McGowan in there. I mean, she does well with her back to the basket. She does well outside. She's got to get more touches, I think, because that's been successful for them. And the more then that she's got that, that'll hopefully open up and give the others an advantage or a possibility there.
Boy, if it wasn't for their success at the line, Armstrong would really be out of this one. I mean, they're not exactly right in it at 17 even. There's McGowan getting the board, and she scores it. Now the press comes again for the Falcons. Wilson getting it back, and now Klein. Cronin, shot fake, and then puts up a wild one that's way too long, and Armstrong has found a little bit of success defensively now with that pressure.
Well, and I think, too, when you're coming in, you got to find your shot. That last shot I felt was a rush shot.
Off the glass, too strong, but McGowan rebounds, scores, and a foul. And Armstrong clawing their way back into this one.
You know, if Armstrong, they're applying a little bit of pressure right now. It's disrupting some things for Osseo. If you're Osseo and you're talking and you're coming in on the floor right now, you got to look for the right shot. We've got a lead. How do we play with a lead? When is the time we take certain shots?
McGowan's free throw, no good. Under 2 to play now. Klein will take that 3, no good. Wilson, a strong rebound, and then they're all tangled up. Ooh, a tough traveling call there, as really her leg was intertwined with Parsons. And I guess, you know, it's really hard to call a foul either, though, because they just kind of got tangled up.
Yeah, and they both came down together on that.
Hanley dishing. McGowan, too strong. Tipped out, though, and the layup is good by Parsons. Boy, Armstrong, I didn't really like their odds of getting back this close by halftime. They have chipped it and cut into the lead, now down by 11. Wilson's pull-up jumper won't go. Hanley the rebound. Dishes it off. Bugan a shot fake, and she will go to the free throw line as fouls starting to mount up on Osseo after Armstrong was the one who was plagued by some fouls early.
And what we're seeing Armstrong do right now, we're getting like some shot fakes, we're attacking, and that's where they're drawing the foul, and they're putting them back themselves at the free throw line.
And that is going to be the third on Jaden Klein. So we talked about it earlier that they were hoping to get her to halftime, you know, still at 2, but it doesn't happen that way. And Armstrong not quite as hot at the line now as Bugan will miss a pair. So it stays at an 11-point lead, 45-34 as we approach a minute 15 to go in the first half. And nice tip by Brigham to get a piece of that, and then we get a foul on Hanley as they tried to pass it back out of there.
She tried to get in there, but they got tangled up, and that's what caused the foul.
Foul.
So free throws coming for Knutson for Osseo. Boy, it's funny. I mean, you watch enough basketball and you know that this can happen, but just how much this game has changed in the last 4 or 5 minutes. At that point, you might have said Osseo is going to win this game by 30 or 40 points, but Armstrong has really battled back, in particular the change defensively. All of a sudden, Osseo can't find a bucket where for a while they couldn't miss.
Yeah, they were scoring it felt like they were scoring at will before. And I feel the last couple times down the floor, they've kind of settled for a quick shot instead of how they'd moved the ball earlier and got a better shot.
Kara Walker, number 32, is in there for Armstrong late in the half. McGowan at the high post. Bugan. Now Walker will swing it around. Pull-up jumper is blocked by Choi, but they get it back. Walker down the baseline will be called for the travel.
Traveling violation. Osseo.
So Osseo will have it in the backcourt after the turnover, but Armstrong, once they've gone to this press, it has really worked wonders in slowing things up for Osseo.
It has disrupted them a bit, and because of the press, then they've gotten down here, and I feel they've taken some quick shots.
Choi will give it up to Wilson. Wilson driving, scoop layup is good. Another hoop for Wilson.
That was just a beautiful drive of hers. She went in, she attacked, and then she ended with the scoop with her right hand. Nice job.
And there's a steal by Wilson. 10 seconds to go in the half.
Good decision, good decision.
She'll kick it to the left. Three won't go. Choi fighting for the rebound, gets it. Goes back up. Going to be a double dribble as we have now come to halftime here. And so that last sequence results in just the time running out there. So Osseo storming out to a lead. Played, I got to believe that's their best first half of the season in a lot of ways. But then Armstrong chipping away, coming back. Two big things. That press helped them a lot, and then also free throws were certainly a key for Armstrong getting to the line and making a lot of their shots from the line as well. Let's go over now to Allie with Coach Erlene.
All right, Coach, a 13-point lead at half. You guys have led this the whole way, but your offense have kind of come and gone in waves. What did you see in that first half?
Story of our season. I think you hit some shots early and you get a chance, you go up, and then you get comfortable. We haven't had a whole lot of games where we've been up 20 points at half. And so Antoine does a great job. His kids adjusted well, and we gotta readjust on the pressure. We'll talk a little bit about that at halftime. But overall, that's a good first half of basketball for us.
You guys have been playing good defense last few games so far this season. It's tough when you can't counter with size, right? So what are you going to do in the second half to try to take away or limit 52 at least?
Yeah, I credit our coaching staff. We talked about when Savannah gets the ball up top, we got to dig a little bit better. When she gets it down on the block, she's tough. And so whether it's midline or on the post, she's tough when she gets down there. So if she gets the ball high, we just got to send a guard and dig a little bit. We'll be all right.
All right, thanks, Coach. We're ready for you to go dance
Thanks,
now.
Michelle. Yeah. Nobody wants to see that.
Thank you, Ellie, and thanks to Coach Erlene as the dance team coming out here at halftime. Osseo leading Armstrong 47-34. We'll have first half highlights and then more basketball for you coming up on CCX. Welcome back here to Osseo. Orioles leading Armstrong 47-34 in our girls basketball matchup here on CCX Sports as we take a look at some highlights from the opening half of play. And boy, it really started out with a lot of offense in this one as the jumper missed here, but there's McGowan. She's been outstanding in this first half for Armstrong, really scoring in a variety of ways, including a three-pointer as we saw early on from her in her second bucket. And then a really nice drive and dish, and she gets the bounce inside. McGowan has been every bit as good as advertised so far in the half, and then a nice block as well by Brigham. And here's McGowan getting to another one on the offensive glass. She piled up the points in the first half. Earlier on, she wasn't getting a whole lot of help, but then they eventually got things going a little bit. Parsons getting the layup there. Here's Klein stepping out and burying a three. She was red hot early as she scored 3 hoops in the very early part of the game. There's Choi setting up Klein for another of her back-to-back three-pointers there. And Wilson stepping between a couple of players and getting the layup to go as Wilson was great in that first half with 6 baskets. You see the block there, and Holman also played a solid first half as well, hitting a couple of threes for the Orioles. And another one from Wilson. Wilson's already exceeded her scoring average in the first half with 15. Klein has 11 and Holman 10. And it's kind of been the McGowan show a little bit for Armstrong, and she's played well, 19. And again, as the half went on, got a little bit more help. Parsons with 7 points and Brigham with 6. We will take a timeout, come back with more of our coverage here of Northwest Suburban Conference girls basketball from Osseo High School here on CCX.
Hey! Okay.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back here to Osseo. Let's go over now to Allie. She's standing by with Coach Easley.
Coach, there was about a 3.5-minute period there in the first where you guys held Osseo to just 2 points. What worked well defensively in that kind of amount of time that you want to transfer into the second?
Well, I thought we just sat down and defended better. I thought the first couple of minutes gave up way too many three-point shots and direct drives. And I felt as the half went on, we got a little better defensively.
McGowan with over half the points for the team in the first half. What is your game plan offensively in the second?
We just got to get more paint touches. I felt we settled a little too much for perimeter shots. We should have been attacking the basket.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Allie, and Coach Easley. Well, it appears they've changed the score at halftime. We're going to have to see if we can figure this out. Well, they're going through the book. At halftime, they took a point away from Armstrong, and I think there must have been. See, the only three they the only three-pointer they had was the one by McGowan, which was very clearly a three. I mean, it was not close. So I can't imagine that would be it, but I guess they're going with 47-33. Huh. My book matched up with what it had been at halftime, and Armstrong not pleased with this change, but they've taken a point away. Layup there by Cronin won't go, and we get a tie-up.
That was nice ball rotation on that, and a nice dumping it in there. Just did not finish on one of those small shots again.
Patty, you would know better than I. Have you ever seen that where they, I mean, obviously sometime a mistake can happen for a moment in a game, but where they go and change it that much later?
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is maybe the scorekeeper had caught it, the guy doing the book, and when he double-checked at halftime, the person doing the clock thought it was a three, or thought they made a free throw they possibly didn't make.
Here comes Holman pushing it back up court. Klein will pop it from the wing, and that's good for 3. Jaden picking up where she left off early in that first half as she knocks down a 3.
She got a nice clean look at that, and she's the kind of player that you can't give her that easy of a look. She's going to put it down.
Knocked away here, and Wilson picking it up. And that could have very easily been the 4th foul on Carly Fisher there. Instead, it'll be just out of bounds.
Exactly, that's the same thing I was thinking too.
Holman will inbound here from the baseline for the Orioles. Cross to Choi. She'll shoot it up there. No good. And Hanley the rebound. Hanley ahead with it. And the layup is good by Fisher.
Hanley did a great job of getting out of that little mess that she had back there, because she had 3 players coming at her, and she just dribbled out of it and was able to hit Fisher for the finish.
Klein stepping between a couple of players, no good. Tip loose, and Brigham grabs it. So the lead is 15. Here comes Hanley. Too hard off the glass. McGowan is there, and then she misses. 2 Osseo players fought for that rebound, though, and it'll be Armstrong ball. So inbound here for Carly Fisher of the Falcons. Gets it to McGowan. Set a double screen there for Parsons, but that one is way short, and out of bounds it will be Osseo basketball.
It was nice. They were patient with that play. They were able to set that nice double screen and kick the ball out to her. They just were not able to finish on that. And then when the rebound came off, it came kind of far, and they just couldn't get to it.
Klein driving and was fouled, and will head to the free throw line.
That's one thing about Klein. I mean, she can shoot from outside, she can drive, she can attack the bucket. You got to love it when you got a player that is getting all those combinations in there and then plays tough defense also.
Klein's free throw good. She has 15 points. 3rd foul on Brigham. She joins Fisher as having 3 for Armstrong, and for Osseo, Cronin and Klein each have 3. Klein knocks down a pair here. 52-35 Osseo. Here's McGowan. Way across they'll come, and this time the 3 is good by Parsons.
3-point basket for number 20, Alexa Parsons.
Wilson keeps that dribble going and was fouled. Armstrong kind of had her in a good spot, but Hanley will be called for the hand check there. Here's Klein with the turnaround, no good. McGowan boards it. Hanley, nice dump down there, and Brigham the layup. Klein will shoot it, and that one's too strong. Nice rebound, though, by Cronin. And then that 3's an air ball by Holman.
Almost got away from her there, and she was able to recover it and actually ended up drawing a foul.
Call's going to go against Wilson, her 2nd, so free throws coming up here for Parsons. And a free throw good by Alexa Parsons. So Armstrong this time dropping back into a half-court zone, and I think they've succeeded. Osseo taking some, I don't want to say bad shots, but maybe not as good as they were getting earlier in the game anyway.
Yeah, I think they're having to adjust to it, and it's, you know, like Coach said, he said they kind of have been, and some ups and downs is what they're doing, and they just got to get their comfort zone back on offense again.
They'll get a foul against Armstrong. They had the trap there against Wilson. But Brigham will pick up the foul as she got into her with the body, so her fourth. It's being called pretty tight here tonight, and I think it's taken both teams a little bit, of adjustment to that.
I agree. A couple of them you kind of wondered, and then it gets tight, and I think for them to try and figure out just how to play with the way it's being called.
Lob in decline, a lot of traffic there, knocked away and out of bounds by McGowan. Osseo fortunate to keep it here. Holman driving it down the lane, no good. Rebound there, grabbed by Bugan. And that pass tipped and stolen by Choi, but then taken back. Hamley running it back now for Armstrong. Swings it over, corner jumper won't go for Fisher. Wilson drives and then is cut off. Cronin, that was a forced one, but the layup is good by Klein.
Both teams seem to be right now trying to find some rhythm and some momentum right now. It's not running really, we're having to work for what they're getting.
Hanley open on the weak side, no good, but was fouled, and that'll be number 4 on Cronin. Good look to find her there on the weak side. Both teams have worked some zone in here. Here's where you're glad that you've played a lot of players, though. If you're Osseo, you get a couple in foul trouble, and you've got subs that are ready and willing to come in.
Exactly.
And Cronin will indeed check out. Holman as well, and coming back in Brack and Walters.
Both of those two had a pretty decent contribution in the first half of how they both were playing defensively and offensively.
Hanley wide left with that free throw here, so she misses them both. Wilson whipping it ahead. Choi. Now Brack looking to drive it into traffic. Ooh, a tough shot. And she scores it for her second basket of the night. 15-point lead for Osseo.
I wasn't sure how she was going to come up with that one, and she just did a great job laying it up off the glass.
Choi will be called for the hold, and we're going to have a lot of free throws here tonight, I have the feeling.
I think so. It
and
seems
probably
like
some foul-outs. Stella Hansen coming in for the first time for Armstrong, number 4. And Choi knocking that one away. Armstrong, not really good use of your space there when you throw it in that close toward half court. So here's Fisher into the front court. Osseo going back to man now. Long three put up from the top, won't go, but there is McGowan with the rebound and putback.
she definitely has that left side of the basket mastered with that touch.
That pass, fortunate to get to Klein. It was kind of thrown into the middle of everyone. Wilson will stop and fire a three, and that's good. Boy, sometimes shooting is contagious, even if it's the other team. You know, earlier on we had players hitting from the outside, left and right.
Wilson has just had a very good night offensively. Nice touch. The shot's been looking good.
Little heat check there. that one wouldn't go.
It was well, the last one went, so this one's gonna.
Did a foul call there on Lyric Walters. Bugan will come back in, and Parsons out for Armstrong. Fisher into the front court. Gonna try to go all the way, no good, but there is, guess who, McGowan for another putback.
You know, if you're Armstrong, you're going to attack that bucket, especially if McGowan's down there, because she's got your rebound and your putback.
Choi firing from the corner, no good. McGowan the rebound, and we get another foul call going against Osseo, and it's going to be Klein, I believe.
Well, and it's funny, as kids do that, and they don't think, well, I didn't touch it, but they're both pushing on her from back, and a lot of times they don't realize that other hand there is what's causing them the foul.
Fourth foul on Klein, so she will check out. Sampe back in. Holman also comes back in for Osseo. Through Fisher's hands, and Sampe up with the steal. Back over to Holman. Into traffic, had it blocked there by Hansen. Eugen the other way and was fouled. Walters will pick it up.
You know, the thing is, I was watching her, but kind of curious what she's going to do. Is she going to see she really doesn't have the numbers, pull it up? Well, then it paid off to her advantage because they came and they fouled her.
So timeout taken here, 59-45, Osseo our score. Orioles led it at halftime, 47-33 apparently. It went to the half as 47-34, and we came back out for the second half at 47-33 after a check of the scoring.
Well, and the way the game was going in the beginning, we both thought it was going to be a much bigger lead, and you've got to give Armstrong a ton of credit and coach, because they changed up some things, they made some adjustments, and they were able to get back in the game.
And what he told us, too, before the game we're kind of seeing out here is that you didn't really see people hanging their head. I mean, there was a stretch when things really weren't going too well for them, but you didn't really see a lot of pouting or players, you know, acting like they had kind of thrown in the towel or anything like that. They kind of just kept working and trying to chip away and get back in it, and that's kind of what happened.
And that would definitely, you could see that, and that, when you can get that out of your kids, you've got a lot of potential there. They're going to work hard, just play the game. You know, don't give up on each other, keep working together, and it paid off. They were able to come back and make it a much closer game.
See the shooting stats there. Inside it comes, and there's McGowan for the layup.
We're going to throw a little press against them again.
Holman back across. Oh, and then a turnover. Eugen up with it. Eugen has a player ahead if you can get it to her, and does. Layup is good for Bertinelli. 10-point game. Osseo looking rattled. There's a steal by Fisher. Oh, but she missed it. And then a foul in the backcourt as Eugen bumps into Holman.
They're doing a lot of right things, and they just got to be careful on their press when they're doing that they move their feet and they don't get a foul in there.
Second personal, 14 foul.
Wilson will come back in for Osseo, and Walters out.
Yeah, they want to get Wilson back in here because she was doing some nice things when she was in there and with other players in foul trouble.
Front court, Wilson, and now Choi, a quick first step, and McGowan swats it. Eugen the other way, and caught up to by Holman, and she swipes it away. It'll stay with Armstrong, but there is Savannah McGowan. Her presence felt defensively right here. That's a great block.
Nice job.
Armstrong a chance to cut it to single digits for the first time in a very long time, but knocked away. It's going to be a foul, though, against Choi on the reach-in.
You know, Armstrong is getting these opportunities. They're causing the turnovers, and they're coming down here. What you want your players to start identifying is, do I have the numbers with me? What's going to be my best option? And get a good shot, because they're starting to make their buckets.
That's the seventh foul, so we'll have free throws upcoming here.
The line for a bonus.
And that's another thing that Armstrong's going to be able to take advantage of. They're already in the bonus, and it potentially could be a while till Osseo gets in the bonus.
Black driving it, and this time it's Hansen with her second block of the half. Holman will inbound here for Osseo. As we said earlier, there was a time earlier in the game when it felt like they could get whatever they wanted offensively, but not anymore. And there's a turnover as Fisher loses it. Holman has to run it down. Back for Choi, and the layup's good.
Yes, Choi.
Armstrong had a good opportunity again there, but they were rushing it up the middle, and where it was really crowded with the defenders, and it caused a turnover for them again.
Hansen got good post position, but couldn't quite finish it over Choi. Sampe with it here. Wilson on the drive, back out. Holman's pass was tipped and then stolen. McGowan up with it. They give it to McGowan way out high. Wasn't really expecting it, but she was ready enough anyway to not travel there.
Well, it was good to get, you watched her. She got her players set up to where they were supposed to be.
Nice baseline cut by Fisher, and the layup is good, and it's back to a 10-point game. Armstrong really showing some fight here, and again in the second half, it kind of was looking dire a little bit, and then they just keep fighting back and back to within 10. Good patience there on the pass, and a great cut by Fisher.
Nice finish. Well, when McGowan got the ball on top, it's like they said, unexpectedly, but she took the time and she got her players in the right spots. They weren't in where they needed them to be in the play, got them in the right positions, and they were able to get that nice bucket by Fisher. I think if you're Osseo right now, you're going back and you're talking about what got us to where we are right now. What are we doing differently? What do we need to do a little better at? Number one, let's control the ball a little better. Let's control our rotations a little better.
Boy, and it's funny how that can happen within a game, too, where it's just hard to get it back. When you were flowing smooth, you were passing the ball, you were hitting your shots, everybody was confident, and then you're just, in your own mind, you're kind of thinking, we need to get back to that, but how do we do it?
Well, and sometimes kids make, not on for a negative reason, but they try to get back to it so quickly that it kind of falls apart on them a little more for a little bit.
Holman steals it back there as Armstrong was a little careless, just trying to tip that rebound out instead of grabbing it. Sampe on the move, no, but she was fouled. Hansen will pick up the foul, and Lena Sampe, another 8th grader, will head to the free throw line here for the Orioles. And that free throw well short. Second one no good, and McGowan up for the rebound. Armstrong another chance to cut it to single digits, but it's jabbed away by Wilson. Sampe to Choi. Here's Wilson bringing it back out top. Orioles getting a little bunched up too. There have been a number of times where a dribbler kind of almost ran into a teammate, or they're just in the space. They're really struggling on how exactly they want to attack this defense.
Well, and you got to give a little credit too. Right now, Armstrong has kind of changed up some things from time to time. They're feeling a little more confident. They're becoming a little more aggressive on the defensive side.
Hanley will pick up the foul, her third, and you saw Hanley a little frustrated. Felt like the dribbler had thrown her arm out there a little bit. Not yet in the bonus. That was the 6th team foul, so Osseo inbounding on the baseline. Holman across to Wilson. Down low to Choi, no good, and Bugan will rebound. Bugan doubled in the backcourt, kept the dribble going though. and gets it ahead. Here's an opportunity for a three, won't go, and tip loose as Wilson runs it down here for Osseo on the near miss by Parsons. Keep in mind, Klein is sitting with 4 fouls right now, so one of their prime offensive threats not out there, and there's a turnover by Sampe. Bugan. Hanley falls down, but got away to Hansen, no good. And then the rebound grabbed again by Wilson. Black driving it into the middle and was fouled. That'll be Parsons.
Her second personal 7.
So Tamia Brack will shoot.
Back from the Falcons, number 24, Fisher, number 52, McGowan. Back in from the Orioles, number 13, Jane.
So McGowan, after a short break, will come back in.
Klein's back in the game now too, and along with Fisher. So they're bringing all their people back in, and we'll see how it goes. We have 4 fouls on Klein, and let's see what she does.
McGowan coming out to get it. See if Armstrong's kind of conscious of that and maybe tries to go to McGowan and see if they can't get her to foul out.
Well,
Fisher grabbing it. Here's McGowan way out high again. Probably not where they'd want her to be in terms of trying to draw a foul. Anyway,
well, exactly. You've got the matchup you want. You got Klein and McGowan going against each other. Let's get it into her.
Here's Fisher on the drive, and it just rolls off, but she gets it back. Inside it comes, no good. Klein just made sure to go straight up, and that'll be out of bounds off of McGowan. Good hustle there, but she was on the end line.
Back in for the Orioles, number 33, Katie.
Knutson coming back in here for Osseo. Armstrong has just not been able to get it to single digits. They've cut it to 10 on a few occasions.
They've had a couple top opportunities 2 or 3 times to cut it to 8. They just haven't been able to get below that 10.
Wilson had it ripped away, and here they come again. Fisher. Klein had to back away and let her go, and Fisher lays it in, and now they cut it to 8. Wilson giving it to Choi. Holman back for Choi on the pick and roll, knocked away. It'll be off of Armstrong. Osseo fortunate to keep that one as the pass was kind of lobbed into the middle of traffic. Boy, and here's where you're Osseo. I mean, you obviously you don't want your players to be afraid to shoot the ball, but now just when things haven't been going as well. Here's Holman. She'll go to the free throw line.
Well, and that's what I was thinking, what she did right there. You need Osseo to go back and attack the bucket again. Let's get a layup. Let's get a good shot. And maybe at the free throw line here, that might break their little spell.
Brigham will foul out on that one. So a valuable front court player is out on fouls here with 8 points. And I said probably won't be the last to foul out with as many as we've had. And that's a tough one if you're Armstrong to take, because Holman, I'm not saying it's impossible she's going to make that, but that was going to be, that is a play you really don't want to foul on, because that was a tough shot.
Well, and two, you've got to be, as a player, aware of where you are in your foul situation. You also don't stop playing, D. You just got to play a little smarter, because they need you on the floor.
Second free throw also good, and I know it's the age-old thing. I mean, a player probably comes back to the bench and says, "Coach, that wasn't a foul," and the response would be, "Well, it is if they say it is." So.
Exactly.
Here's McGowan with it at the high post. They quickly double her. Fisher. Cross for Bugan. Klein did a nice job cutting off the roll there by McGowan.
And Osseo's plan right now, you can watch the way they're playing defense. They do not want McGowan to even get a touch.
Knocked away. It will be out off of Armstrong. Good hands by Holman. So Orioles get it back here, leading it by 10. Down low to Holman. Layup is good, plus the foul. Holman did a nice job just cutting to the bucket. And good find as well by Knutson. Eugen will pick up the foul. And Coach Erlien was just telling Knutson, that's a nice play there. That's a great pass. And Holman gets the three-point play and a little bit of breathing room for Osseo at 13 now. Hanley looking to turn the corner, does, but left it short. Saved in, but McGowan up with it. And then a steal by Wilson. Wilson will attack and rolls in and out. Fisher pushing it back the other direction. Fisher will go all the way and the layup is good. And then a quick timeout taken, so 66-55. Armstrong keeps on battling.
Fisher did a nice job there. She got it down there. She came. She was going for it. She kind of did a little bit of a hesitation, disrupted defense, and then she went strong to the bucket.
Well, we've got more great sports action coming up for you on CCX as gymnastics action this Thursday night. John Jacobson will be on hand for that. And boys basketball coming up on Friday night as St. Michael Albertville, newcomer to the Lake Conference, is at Wayzata. And then some more gymnastics early next week as two of the top teams in the area, Champlain Park and Maple Grove, go head-to-head, and hockey action coming up as well. So busy time of year. It's really a great time of the year. The winter sports season, not just slight fall or spring, but a lot of times the winter is kind of being the longest season. You get to see the teams a little bit more and everything too. And that stretch of state tournaments, you know, when you go wrestling, you go girls hockey, wrestling, boys hockey, and then the two basketballs and all that. Just a great run to conclude the winter season.
Oh, it's such a fun time of the year. You know, it's just to watch all of them. And you're right. It's like boom, boom, boom. They all go. But what an awesome experience for many of the kids.
Osseo basketball in the backcourt. Their lead has been trimmed to 11 now after Armstrong's Fisher scored that layup. Wilson working her way up the sideline. Bounce pass over to Choi, but she missed. And then knocked out of bounds by McGowan, it looks like. So Osseo will get it, but the Falcons dodged a bullet there as Choi was all alone. But that's a tough shot right in the middle like that. It's hard. It's hard to bank it, so then you're kind of left doing a short little floater. Klein driving, left it short, and McGowan grabs it. Fisher ahead to Hamley. McGowan calling for it in traffic. And then a takeaway nearly, and Wilson will come up with it. Wilson driving it. Fisher fouled her, and she'll go to the line. Fourth on Carly Fisher.
Carly left her feet a little bit there. I think if she may have stayed on the ground where she was, she'd already established position. It might have gone the other way or been a no call.
Yeah, got her with the hip a little bit there. Good job by Wilson to kind of force that contact. And she'll head to the free throw line. Had a big first half. 1 3-pointer in the second, and now adds a free throw. That's a 19 in the game for Alea Wilson. And one more coming here, trying to put her team back up by 13. And she will make a pair. 68-55 Orioles. Now they do get it to McGowan. Didn't look at the hoop. She goes back out to Fisher instead, and no good. Rebound by Knutson. Here's Holman. Drives and then almost threw it away. Choi recovers. Hanley up defending on Choi. Almost got a 5 count there. Now Wilson does a nice job just holding on to it. and was fouled by McGowan, I believe.
Looked like Wilson was looking for a climb there.
Looks like instead it's going to be on Fisher. No, it is Hanley. So that'll be number 4 on Hanley. And Wilson back to the free throw line here. Knocks it down. Boy, it's a big part of being able to seal up wins is if you come to the line and make your shots, and they've done a pretty good job of that. They've had a few misses here in the half, but overall have shot well. And of course, as soon as I say that, no good on that one, but they get it back again. Klein's gonna let it rip for 3, and it's good. Jaden Klein buries it, and then a timeout. That's a shot where at first you might be going, do we need that? Okay, when it goes in, yeah, we need that, and it's a 3-pointer.
Well, and she's a shooter. She's a 3-point shooter also, and sometimes you got to trust your shooters on that field. But it's also, yeah, you're right. What is the shot we need at the time of the game and where we are in the game to get what types of shots? And
she definitely was open and definitely in rhythm. So that part of it you certainly are okay with, and confidently knocking it down. And I think, you do want your players, and knowing Coach Erlene a little bit too, that you'd rather your players err on the side of being a little too confident than not confident enough.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you're in a position too that they were starting to build their lead again. It's a good shot. You're open. She did the step back on it. You got to trust some of that also and continue.
See what Osseo is coming up, as they'll be taking on Champlain Park Friday night, and then next week Patino Grace and Elk River on the slate. Coach was talking to us too about how every night you pretty much get a test in the Northwest Suburban. You see what Armstrong has. Rogers, the newcomer to the league, has been a good addition, and then they go to Elk River. So there just aren't a whole lot of off nights where you have an easy opponent.
That's definitely true. And a lot of those teams are just getting stronger and stronger.
Not much margin for error anymore for Armstrong, and speaking of an error, Holman with the steal.
Don't like it when they hold the ball above their head like that. You got to protect the ball.
Klein's going to shoot it again, this time way short. But it comes loose over to Cronin, missed it, gets it back and scores. First basket for Isabel Cronin, and that might about seal it up now, 19-point lead. Not that it wasn't maybe in the books already anyway, but there's Wilson fouling Fisher. Carly Fisher a little slow to get up as she will head to the free throw line.
Well, and what happened again tonight is what Coach Easley talked to us a little bit about before was, they're in the game, they're there, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's, wow, and they'd gotten it down to 8 points, and then again it got away. But not, you can't tell that by looking at their kids. Their kids are still playing hard. There's nobody hanging their head. They're just playing ball.
Fisher's at a good second half, 4 hoops in the half, total of 10 points, and hits the free throw.
She seemed a lot more confident going to the basket in the second half than she was in the first half, which some of that came from their defense stepping up, creating some opportunities for them, and then the confidence to attack the bucket or take the shot.
Tierney Favors, number 40, coming in. Second free throw is short, and Choi rebounds. Holman looking for Choi, has to run it down in the corner. Choi fell but got rid of it. Now Osseo definitely into delay mode here, under 2 minutes to go and up by 18. Klein looking to drive it, little slow it down move to the hoop and lays it in. So 20-point lead here for Osseo. They're going to win their 4th game of the year. Fisher had to get out of her hands a little bit. McGowan trying to get it back, knocks it out of bounds. And it will be Osseo ball. Bugan will check back in for Armstrong. McGowan will sit down probably for the rest of the night here, but she's had a great performance.
She has. She's had a great job. She's carried. to watch her hustle up and down the floor the way she has, I love it when you see the big people working that hard. Also, we had a little extra player on the floor.
Jasmine Woodford, number 20, is in.
You know what's funny is kids play so much ball in the off season, and a lot of times they're used to just running in, that they many times, I've seen it so many times, no, you got to check in at the table and wait to be called in.
Amina Hargrove, number 50, also in. Underneath for Bugan. Back out, Favors will shoot it up, no good. Rebound grab there by Hargrove. And then a mad scramble for it, and the Bugan winds up with it. 3 is too strong. Favors trying to save it. It's going to stay with Armstrong, though. Only a minute 4 to go.
Basketball. Now in for the Orioles, number 22,
Sydney Frazier checking in here for Osseo as the lead strong enough now that they can kind of get the rest of the players in there that haven't been out there yet. Fisher kicks it back out to Hanley. She'll give it back to Fisher. On the drive, left it a little bit short, and then there'll be a foul, I believe, on Fisher. And if so, that will be her 5th.
Foul number 24, Carly Fisher. That's her 5th personal foul.
So she will foul out with 11 points. Some more subs coming in here for the Orioles.
Now for the Falcons, number 5, Catherine Batson.
Lex Davis coming in,
number 40, Jalen Choi.
number 42.
Lex Davis at the line for the double bonus.
Jalen Choi also in there, number 40 for Osseo. Free throw is good by Frazier.
You gotta like it when the kids come in off the bench like that and they get to the line, the whole team's cheering for them, and then comes in with confidence and finishes.
Second free throw won't go. Hanley with it here. Parsons lost it briefly. Now Favors traveled.
Raveling violation, Osseo basketball.
Davis bringing it up court here for Osseo. Lex, a great track and cross-country star for the Orioles, and there's a steal. Parsons, layup is good.
She needed a little bit of hesitation towards the end there to try to disrupt the defensive player, which worked out for her to get up and finish on that layup.
Tried to go back out to Davis. It was blocked and stolen, and the game will come to an end, and it is Osseo winning for the 4th time this season overall, and they'll get their first conference win on the West Division with a 77-58 victory. And, you know, Patty, we can kind of see why Coach Erlene was pretty upbeat when we talked to him beforehand. He said, we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing some good things. We've worked hard, and we've had kind of our best couple weeks of practice, and you know, it showed tonight. I thought they played a very strong game, and obviously Armstrong came back hard at them and closed that gap below 10 in that second half, but then the Orioles just kind of resumed control of this one and pick up the win.
Well, and I think, too, Coach Orlina, this is what he wanted as far as the outcome, and us, obviously, but after playing a game last night, a tough game last night, to come out and get the job done, and that's what he's got to be pleased with. And Armstrong did, and they did continue. They competed the whole game. They got themselves back in with some things. It just, at times, it just got too far away for them to be able to come out and finish.
Let's go over now to Allie.
Thanks, Jay. I have Jaden Klein here. Jaden snapping a 5-game losing streak. Got to feel good, get that monkey off the back. What was it about this game tonight? These are two young teams, but you were the ones to prevail. How are you guys able to do it?
I feel like it's because of the 5-game losing streak that we all came together and we were just tired of it. Like, we all came together, we played as a team, and it was a really great win today.
You guys also had a lot of effectiveness at the Arc tonight. 3 points were falling for you guys. How are you guys able to be so effective out at the Arch?
We work a lot. We work for 3-pointers like a lot in practice. We think of that as a key to our game, that and driving and kicking, because we have such young players that can get to the rim now. Like, we really capitalize on our 3 points.
Coach is loving your defense in the last couple games. Tonight, 52 at 18 points in the first half, but just 6 in the second. What did you guys switch up to be able to contain her more?
I feel like we talked a lot more on defense. Boxing out was a very big key. Her getting her offensive rebounds, there's no stopping her when she gets in the post. She's a really good player. I feel like just boxing out and just letting each other know where she's at on the court all the time.
After tonight, you guys are officially halfway through the regular season. Heading into the second half, what are your hopes for this team?
I'm hoping that overall that we get more than 500, like get more wins than losses this year, just for the younger kids in the program to get a good feel about how varsity is since they're going to be here for the next 4 years. I'm hoping that it's just a fun season going on. We're not really focused on the record. We're just focused on getting better every day.
Playing like this will also help the second half of the season. Good job tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jaden, and thank you very much to Allie. So Osseo getting some pretty balanced scoring. Klein had 23, 21 for Wilson, and 15 for Holman to lead the way in this 4th win of the year. And for Armstrong, McGowan did have 24. Parsons at 13 and Fisher at 11, also in double figures. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's contest here from Osseo High School. Again, your final is Osseo 77, Armstrong 58.